not trying to fix the problem. Yes, I think you guys are saying the same thing.
Because you're supposed to look at the two that are the functional. And if one is different in the normal range, it's compensated.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Questions on that? I'm kind of out of room to make another example.
Yeah, we should do another example.
So, move on a little bit. Again, now let me know if you have any issues. Okay, this whole thing right here is acid-base balance, right? It's like the other one was, but it has a lot more detail, okay? The only thing I talked about on this whole thing is this right here. Why? Because it is the most important in extracellular fluid is that whole carbonic acid bicarbonate buffer system, which is that formula, right? That chemical formula. That's all we talked about. That other stuff, yeah, it happens, but you don't care. Okay? That's like way down the line. You gotta get this nailed down, and then someday you might want to talk about that. I don't know. Depends on where you go in your life. Okay? All right. This again, I don't think says anything different, does it? Bicarbonate, that's our normal values. Buffer, blah, blah, blah. Lungs, kidneys, nope, nothing new. Except this, you don't need to know that. 20-to-1 ratio, who cares? Okay? This is for some of you nerds that really like chemical formulas. Make you happy. You're welcome. There it is. Okay? Same thing. Yeah, again, this is the exact same thing. It's just showing what value grew on there as far as that formula goes. Right here, clearly, that is not a lung. That is an alveoli, which of course is where the gas is exchanged, right? And of course, this looks just like a kidney, or not. They decided to draw an alveoli over here, awesome. Probably should have drew a kidney over here or a nephron, but they did it, whatever. I'm not gonna be salty about it. See, yeah? Use one of your generation's words in a sentence. Okay, so, again, this is the same thing. We put it on a little balancing beam, a teeter-totter, whatever you call it. Just to show you, this is all about balance, right? When one thing happens, something else should try to fix it. And that's it. That's why that chemical reaction goes both ways. Okay? This is a more comprehensive of the exact same chemical formula. Okay? I focused on this thing on the bottom. Okay? Like I said though, obviously you secrete hydrogen too, but again, I kind of want you to kind of ignore that for now because I don't want you to get confused. I'd rather you think of metabolic system dealing with base, respiratory system dealing with CO2, okay? Or acid. Okay, like I said, those are our four options. You want to do another example?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a pH of 7.52. Going to make a CO2 level of
12.
bicarb level. That sucker better be somewhere around, let's make it 38 too. Why not? Okay? What do we have?
Alkalosis.
Okay, we know we have an alkalosis. Yes?
Yes.
All right, now we gotta figure out who caused it. So, one at a time, I'm gonna write base here, just because. I'm gonna look at these different things. So my CO2 is 38. If my CO2 is 38, what is that going to do to my blood? Is it gonna make it acidic or basic?
Acidic. Oh, normal.
It's not gonna do anything, that's normal.
Duh.
That is not coming into play apparently. Okay? My bicarb, if it's 38 and I have that much base in my blood, what's that going to do to my blood?
Basic.
Therefore, whose fault is it that I have an alkalosis? It is that person's fault, and that is metabolic system. Yes? So I have a metabolic alkalosis. So am I compensating or not?
No.
I say nay, nay. I have an uncompensated metabolic alkalosis. Does anyone have any question on that? Yes?
When would it not be compensated? Like, when would your
Just
body
stop.
not try to compensate it?
You mean in real life?
Yeah.
Usually some kind of brain injury is always good.
You
Let me
mean
think
like
about this.
like
What?
numeric values? Like what would make it this?
What do you mean?
Like numerically, like how would it be compensated? One to compensate for the other.
Oh, if I want to change the number on the CO2,
Yeah.
we would have to add base in our solution. I mean acid in our solution, right?
Yeah.
So we would have to put how much CO2 in there because it is acid. Yeah, give me a number, 55, whatever. Something over 45, right? And then that would add more acid in the solution. Now, I think your question was in real life or not?
Yeah.
So in real life, when something's not compensated, sometimes it just doesn't have time. Sometimes something's broken. Like, let me think here. If I had a metabolic alkalosis, let's say I got that from just eating a whole bunch of Tums, right? Tums are bicarb, right? So I ate a whole bunch of Tums, got myself a metabolic alkalosis. But here's the thing. This is a true story, by the way. So there I was, minding my own business, like 5 years old, right? Well, they sent me off to Sunday school class. It was at church. They sent me off to Sunday school class. And somehow my little 5-year-old self escaped.
Oh, no.
I don't remember how, but there was a little store next to the church. So I went in that little store, and there was some candy at my eye level. So I walked in there and I picked up the candy, and I ate it. Turned out that was Tums, or Rolaids or something, one of the two. Right? It's really chalky. You know what? It was 5 minutes. Tasted good. I was out on the lam. I escaped Sunday school. Right? I needed my nutrition. So I ate it. Okay? Well, that put me in a slight metabolic alkalosis. I ate the whole pack. And I was a little dude. Right?
So you start vomiting?
I started vomiting like mad. Now, if you would have taken my arterial blood gas at that time, you might have figured out, you know what, I was okay. Because I was a 5-year-old, and little 5-year-olds, they bounce back from everything really fast. It might not have, the whole vomiting thing was fixing the problem, which means my lungs might not have had to. Does that make sense? Now I was vomiting and actually getting rid of acid, but I was also getting rid of a lot of base because that's what was in my stomach at the time, right? So, you know, there's about a zillion reasons why you can or cannot compensate. Sometimes they're really bad, like I said, brainstem injuries, things like that. Sometimes just because you're figuring out a different way to compensate from it, like kicking your brains out or something. Oh, yeah, I got busted because I was puking. So then my mom drug me back to the store and paid for the Rolaids and then made me apologize. Yeah. It was very